Hello, Mark Crossfield here. We're giving it a Nike off today. I've got Covert, VRS Covert 2.0 in Tour and in standard version. Let's compare these two drivers, see what it's all about. I've got the exact same shaft in both driver. I've got them set at the exact same loft. We're going to hit them both. We're going to show you some numbers using GC2 HMT, using my Pro V1 Titleist Pro V1 X balls, which I game. Show you the numbers. Let's look at some data on these two drivers. The two Red Devils. Let's get stuck in. Right guys, Nike Covert Tour 2.0, so standard version with the black insert in the cavity back to the Tour version with the white insert in the cavity back. So both of them finished this insert, this stabilizing kind of mechanism they put into the insert at the back. What that does, I'm sure they can prove that. Both of them got Nextcore faces, which deliver faster ball speeds across the whole face, Nike are telling us. Tour version has the black face to the silver version of the standard club. I actually prefer the black, so the red to the black for me just looks better than the red to the silver, but that's purely a cosmetics. Put it down by the ball, both are 460cc, but certainly the standard 2.0, not the Tour version. The standard version looks like a bigger head. The footprint is bigger, a little bit more stretched back, I would say, at the back, but not much in it. The new 2.0 Tour, so the biggest difference on the older one is the Tour version definitely looked much smaller. I use that one, I like the look of that. I've got Curaçao stiff shafts, which is their standard shafts. If you choose to go stiff in these, this one, I think actually the standard version might come with a different shaft. You shaft always would look that out, but obviously for my testing, I'm going to stick with the same shaft in both clubs. Both feature the tick and the red, all that kind of jazz. So let's give them a hit. Going to start with the standard version first. Now, when we do the testing with the launch monitor and the real Titleist Pro V1 X's, I might need to fiddle with the loft. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the loft of these two clubs. At the moment, I've got them set the same, but to get them to perform to their best for me, I might have to change the loft. So it'll be interesting to see if the different footprint produces a different spinning and launching kind of shot. So let's give 2.0 a hit first. Definitely presents nicely down by the ball. Out of the two now, I actually prefer the shape, I think, of the standard one. I like the roundness of the back of it. Let's give it a hit. Gets an interesting sound off this one. It's much more of a old-fashioned kind of duller sound, which I think will appeal to lots of people. I like both sounds, to be honest. I just like hitting it out the middle. If it's out the middle, I don't really mind what sound it makes. Some drivers I want to make a big sound, and some drivers I want to make a smaller sound. This one, I understand why this one doesn't make such a massive ting, which I think will appeal to some people and not to others. Let's give it another hit. Do like the shape of the standard one, but I prefer the black face to the Tour version. Let's give this another hit. That's a good flight. It definitely looks like it's higher. I feel like I would have to turn the loft down on this club. It does feel like it will go slightly up in the air with the Covert standard version for me, set in the same loft. So it'll be interesting to see if we move those lofts around. Let's give it one more here. I could see this driver definitely appealing to a wide range of golfers, from beginners through to, I mean, I think I've seen, I don't know if this is right, but Nick Watney was using this version in the old version, the bigger headed one, along with a few others. I do like the shape of this. And I've hit all those pretty good. Just look a little high. So again, that'll be a case of playing with the lofts to get the real flight I need out of that, which we'll do on the launch monitor. So let's compare that up for feels and looks to the 2.0 Tour. Definitely for me out of the two, the 2.0 Tour looks better, but I prefer the shape of that one. So I like the black face. I actually like the white insert. What that does is obviously nothing in the performance. They've both got the same insert, they're just different colour. But I think it's that branding, isn't it? You see those Tour players finishing with the white insert. You just want that look, don't you? It's funny. You'll be amazed how much that comes down to the buying process, especially for guys, the amateurs out there who are hitting the ball off different parts of the face. Trust your feelings and your looks as much as the data sometimes, because the bigger variables where you're hitting it on the face than actually being so scientific with your numbers. Okay, so give it a hit. Definitely prefer the shape of the standard version. And that flight is good. It does look a fraction lower and more out there. It'll be interesting to see what happens, like I say, with the numbers on that one. I like the slightly smaller head. I just don't like the shape down by this neck. It's not quite rounded enough for me. It's really hard. It's like I want a combination of these two clubs, really. This is definitely a more classic head shape, not so big a footprint, which would appeal to the better player. God, there's not much in that. I think the flight is just slightly lower. I can't wait to see the numbers. Give one more hit for feel. Again, feel off the face of these two. You blindfolded me. I don't think I'd feel a difference. I really wouldn't. It's literally coming down to the footprint down by the ball, stroke shape, and then it'll be very much down to what numbers I get out of the two clubs. Without a launch monitor, I would struggle to pick on those two. Absolutely would. Those flights look so similar. Possibly a little low with Covert Tour. We're going to use the launch monitor to confirm that. Definitely like the look of the colorway of Covert Tour better than the standard, but I actually prefer the footprint, the roundness shape of the standard one. So between these two clubs, I'm kind of, I'm in a bit of a funny place. I can't quite pick on them. Let's look at the numbers. The numbers would have to stay. Let's get on to the GC2 HMT numbers and see how they perform. Right guys, numbers time. Compared Covert Tour and the Covert using my Pro V1X Bullseye game. So if we look at the Tour, 260 average carry, the regular one 249, so that's 11 yards difference in carry. So on those two numbers I would be looking at going Covert Tour all day long. Ball speed 148 with the regular one, it's 149, it's almost the same. Launching at 15 degrees with the 2.0. The 2.0 Tour I'm launching at 15 degrees as well, so again almost identical. Look at the spin numbers. The Tour 2.1, low spin on the Tour. And then with the regular one, 2.7. The spin just gets a little bit more with the regular one. I struggle not to spin it and I just lose a little bit of distance. I get my 2.53 with my best hit with the regular one. But for me, if I wanted to go for that regular shape head, I would seriously have to get into shafts and weight of shafts and not affect club head speed. And a bit of loft as well to really get those launch characteristics exactly the same. Where for me, I wouldn't want to do that. I like the appearance, apart from the head shape a little bit, on the 2.0 Tour. And I'm getting the numbers I need straight away from that head and shaft combination, so I would just go straight for that one. But for you guys, maybe with a little less club head speed, that little bit higher spinning on the regular one, which is what it's aimed at a bit more, is actually going to help you. Rather than for me, it's actually taking a little bit of distance off. So interesting numbers there. I mean, I had to actually do this test a few times. I was surprised that I couldn't spec the regular one to the Tour one to get the same numbers. It's very rare that happens. I can usually get the same numbers, but definitely a little spinny. The other thing I had to do with the regular one over the Tour is I did have to get the regular one at 9.5 and the Tour version I had at 10.5. I had to change the lofts to get these clubs anywhere performing near the same, to get the same launches and have any chance of controlling spin and distance, which again shows you the importance of you guys going to get custom fit with a good launch monitor like GC2 HMT and get some proper data and some numbers to help you maximize. Just trying to do that down a range, no hope. You're never going to achieve that. So interesting numbers between the two there. Definitely 2.0 Tour for me is really performing. I'm getting some big numbers, 268 on one of the carries when I actually got my sneaky long swing on it, but couldn't get that on the regular one. Not to say the regular one isn't any good. Subject to your club head speed and what you're putting in, that extra spin actually might help you get a little bit more distance. Let me know what you think, guys. Love to hear. Post comments down below. Are these the clubs you might be trying? But between the Tour and the standard one, that's the biggest difference I've seen between a regular and a Tour version, where you would see the Tour version really helping a better player and the regular one helping more a kind of average club golfer with the slower club head speed. And that doesn't normally happen. Most manufacturers I've found, they have their difference between the Tour and regular version often are so slim that it's more just a kind of marketing ploy. But for Nike there, they're actually producing two different drivers for two different standards of players, I would say, which is interesting. Let me know what you think. Post comments down below and we'll speak to you soon. So if you like what's going on here, don't be afraid to subscribe to the channel. Also thumbs up the video, post comments. Love to hear what you guys got to say. Let's keep it social. The more we talk, the more we share, the easier this game will get for everybody. So if you want to find me on Facebook here, you can find me on Facebook. If you want to tweet me, find me on Twitter here as well. Just follow the links, all in the description. Come and join the show. Get active, get involved, get playing some better golf. Thanks for watching.